Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be looking at the new Defender Octa. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehigh for giving me some time with this Defender. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Bronson. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 4.4 liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town, 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 626 horsepower and then 553 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, this Octa is an Edition 1, so it's got quite a few really cool elements. Forged carbon there on the checker plate area. And then you can see forged carbon with the Defender logo as well. But that's not all. Just like a Raptor, this is over 80 inches wide, so it has marker lights. You can see that we've got 3 there in the grille with the Land Rover logo that's been darkened. And you'll notice here, the whole headlight setup, that's really cool too. And then you have another one on either side of the fender flares. And then you can see we've got the fog lights down below. And you'll notice a satin finish on everything. This does have the satin PPF from the factory. And then we've got this giant recovery point there, front and center. And of course, Edition 1 there on the grille. But yeah, definitely an aggressive look. Now, our tire wheel setup is 275 by 50 by 22. And here's the deal. Pretty much all these Octas are going to be ordered out with the street tires, I imagine, because just like G63 owners, nobody's actually going to take these off-road, so people aren't going to order them with the off-road tires. I'd love to see one with the off-road tires, of course, but this is what I imagine most people will get. So yeah, street tire setup there. You can see you've got Brembo brakes with it. I love the gold finish there on the caliper, and these wheels are completely blacked out, which goes with the theme. Now you can see we've got the nice blacked out fender flare there. You've got more forged carbon with the Defender logo here, and you've got the venting there on the side. And as an accessory, I don't think it's available yet, but there's supposed to be dual raised air intakes that have more forged carbon, which is pretty crazy. Now you'll notice that the ride height on this is actually very substantial. I mean, you guys can see the regular Defenders over there. There's actually another one over here, this 130, and this does sit noticeably higher. I think it's about an inch higher if I remember right. But anyways, taking a full few steps back, this definitely has that Raptor appearance because of those wider fender flares, and we'll take a closer look at those in just a second. Now I've got the Octa logo there on the side, and then I think this is hilarious for the cover over the gas cap because of the giant fender flares that have been added. And these are fender flares. You guys can see the connection point there, and then if we actually go over here up front, same thing. So they didn't widen the body of the car, they just gave it bigger fender flares compared to stock, but I think it's still a really cool look overall. Now this does also come with a somewhat custom key fob, so we've got our lock and unlock function like normal, the unlock for the rear hatch. We've got the Octa logo there on the back of the key fob, so a little bit of a cool thing to have. Now, just like the V8 Defender, this has the smoked out taillights rather than the red taillights that you see on the like inline 6 or 4-cylinder Defender. And then it still has a swing gate here, and it is heavier because of the larger sized tire that the Octa has. This fits 33s from the factory. So got a little storage here in the back, and then we still have this function to raise and lower the rear end to make accessing the cargo area easier. Got a little charging port there, and then another one here on the other side as well. And you'll notice we still have the cool Alpine windows. This is built off of a 110, and then vents here for the, or actually just there on the one side for the non-existent third row passenger. But yeah, it's a 110, so it's practical. Really cool recovery points. I'll give you guys an exhaust clip towards the end of the video. And something to notice, if you look at the components underneath for the Defender, they're actually extremely beefy. Even though this is independent suspension all around, they've definitely beefed it up. I mean, it's got like some of the biggest components I've seen on an independent suspension unibody vehicle. But yeah, even without the cool off-road kit that I saw in the press release and everything with this is still a really good-looking vehicle. It's got a very aggressive stance, like I said. Now let's pop into the passenger cabin, and again, I think it's hilarious with the fender flare there on the door. It just looks crazy. But this has the normal Defender interior, so this is kind of like supposed to be durable trim here at the top, soft touch. Same thing down below. You still have all the exposed rivets and everything. And you can see the little grab handle inside. And then really nice seats here. So these are a little bit different compared to the regular Defender seats. The front ones are the complete body and sole. But yeah, just really nice trim here. Still get plenty of leg room. You can see the forged carbon in the back of the front seat. And then we've got vents here in the back. Got your own climate zone for the rear passengers, USB ports as well. And again, those Alpine windows really help out with making the interior feel a bit more open because the extra light it lets in. This leads us up front. So again, we've got really nice trim up top, down below as well. Definitely has a rugged kind of feel to it. Rugged luxury, I'd say. All of our window controls. Got memory seats, your mirror adjustments, blind spot underneath the mirrors. I'm interested to see how much this thing weighs actually. So payload capacity, yeah, it's pretty similar to normal Defender where it's 825. Gross vehicle weight rating is 7,120 pounds. So this weighs 6,300 pounds roughly. Definitely a big beast. Similar to a G-wagon. You can see the front body and sole seats really cool with the trim. I will knock Land Rover for this. You can see a little cloth strip there at the very end. I will knock them for that. Got your power adjustments there on the side, Defender logo right there. And you can see the pedals. And then there's more of that trim. I mean, look at the same dash design you get in the other Defenders. So you got like the really durable kind of materials all across the dash. And let's pop it on. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, just like a loaded up V8 Defender, you've got really nice stitching there around the airbag cover. You've got that special Octa mode. Again, this is supposed to be like a Defender Raptor. So it's got that high-speed off-road capability. Got your regular practical controls here on the steering wheel and still have the same style of Defender steering wheel that we all love. Paddle shifters there on the back, and then you've got little stalks behind the paddle shifters too. Now we have the full digital gauge cluster that's in other Defender models, except you'll notice it shows a little Octa right there. And this one has the all-terrain tires. That's what this car should have. It looks so much better with the 20s and the all-terrain tires. But again, everyone's going to want street tires because everyone's going to street race these things and never off-road them. But yeah, this gauge cluster is super customizable. You can change from 1 dial to 2 dial layout. It's really good to use. And then it also has a heads-up display. We've got this 360 camera system. It does fill in underneath the vehicle as well as you move, and you've got your on-road mode, your off-road mode, your towing, so that'll kind of change what this displays information-wise. And then as for the infotainment system, very quick to respond, and you'll notice, got the little Octa page here, lap times. See, this is what I'm talking about, is they expect you to street race this thing as well as take it off-road, which it's cool that it can do both, right? They've got a bunch of physical controls down below, so you've got the gear selector here, the adjustment for the suspension. I'll show you guys the suspension and the different settings in just a moment, just so you can see the ride height difference. We still have low range with this. You've got your multifunction controls that control the heated and cooled seats, but they also control the drive modes with this. And you'll notice that we have a bajillion different drive modes for both on-road and off-road use. And tons of storage here with some USB ports, more of that forged, or I think they call it chopped carbon, if I remember right, but forged carbon, chopped carbon, same. New wireless phone charging pad that they changed for the 25 Defenders. Cool box. Again, really nice trim up top. We've got a camera rear view mirror there, and then you got a nice premium headliner as well. Again, Alcantara, so goes along with the sporty theme. So this is the Octa in the access height, and you can see that the access height is almost as high as a regular Defender in the kind of like normal ride height. And then this is the normal height for the Octa, which looks very similar in height to the raised off-road height for a regular Defender. And this is why all the angles and then the ground clearance is substantially better with the Octa compared to the regular Defender. This right here is the off-road height, and you can see that this sits very, very tall, and so there's not a lot that you wouldn't be able to clear. And if we actually look underneath the vehicle here, you'll notice that because it's independent suspension and everything, there's not a lot that is hanging down. So this is the window sticker for this Defender Octa, and pretty much everything standard equipment, including the satin PPF for the Edition 1. You don't have to have satin PPF on your Edition 1, but it comes as, well, a no-cost option, which is nice, considering the pricing especially. But you've got stuff like, you know, the interior protection pack, tow pack that's been added to this. Total MSRP in this one, and if it'll focus better, $170,845, which undercuts the price of the G63 G-wagon by a substantial margin, but sum things up. Oh, sadly we cannot take this on for a big test drive or anything like that, but I've got it in the off-road setting. I want to see if it still does the same kind of air suspension thing. If you don't know, with air suspension, when you're at the top of the bags, it kind of feels like you're on tiptoes. And yeah, we'll just quickly see. I will say the steering does feel different than both the Range Rover Sport SV and the regular Defender. It's tighter than a regular Defender, but it's not quite as tight as the new SV. And there's actually another Octa. And that one's got the regular logo. The regular logo just has like gold trim, whereas this, again, has like all the chopped carbon and everything. Yeah, it still has like the tiptoes feel. Now, again, the big benefit of the Octa is the normal ride height is so high that unless you're actually like rock crawling, you're not gonna have to go to the top ride height, really. So like normal off-roading, and the regular Defender, sometimes you gotta go up to the higher ride height to clear stuff. This, it's got so much clearance, you're not gonna have to do that. But again, most people that buy these, never gonna take it off-road. Now, I've had extensive time testing out this powertrain, and it's got tons of low-end torque, it's got tons of top-end power, and it's pretty efficient for how much power it has. Again, this is not supposed to be a fuel-efficient vehicle, but it's not too bad. And so, what this feels like to me, again, I can't do an official drive yet. We'll have one in the future. Also, my parking space was robbed from me, I think. I'll have to find a new one. But this feels similar to when you go from a regular F-150 to a Raptor. Now, the guy that helped develop this is the same guy that developed the Ford Raptor, so it kind of makes sense. It has this kind of just super aggressive, wide stance feel that is just cool. It just feels sporty. It just feels sporty. I can't park over here either. Will we ever find a parking space? We will find. Also, I think it's funny, tow in. We're at the Land Rover dealership here. We have parking spaces that are labeled tow in. I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. So overall, this thing is supposed to be a G63 competitor. And with my first little look here, I think that it absolutely accomplishes that and more. And my kind of 2 cents on the whole situation is this is right there power-wise. It's going to have better on-road performance because it's unibody with independent suspension. It's not a oh, there's a space right there, but then this truck's blocking it, so we'll let this truck go out and then we'll go in. Anyways, because this has all of the car stuff and it's not a truck like the G-Wagon, it's going to have much better on-road performance. So it's going to be a much more exciting experience. The interior is much bigger, it's much more usable. Like, this is better than a G-Wagon in every way objectively. People will still buy G-Wagons because of the name. This is the thing about rich people. Rich people don't buy based off of utility, they buy based off of perception of the thing that they're buying. So even though the G-Wagon has much worse utility on road, right? It's not going to drive as sporty, it's going to get worse fuel economy, it has a smaller interior, it's got less space, it's just got less space, and it's just not as good of a vehicle because it's a truck, right? All those benefits are great off-road, but on-road, they're not benefits, they're downsides. Well, they don't care because it's a G-Wagon, and G-Wagon's such a big status symbol. That being said, this is like 30, almost, yeah, no, actually, this is $40,000 less expensive than the least expensive G63 that I have seen so far for the new version that they just released. So it's like $40,000 to get what I would say is objectively a better driving car on road. And people are going to talk about reliability. Nobody will keep either the G63 or this for more than the warranty period, so it doesn't matter. So let me guys think about the new Octa. I think this is really cool. They made a Raptor Defender, and so if you're looking at things, again, if you're in this price category, right, if you have at least a little bit of a utility mind, then you'll see that the Defender provides a lot more utility compared to the G-Wagon. It's got, and it still has, it's not like it's got a crappy engine. It's got a twin turbo V8 just like the G63. So see ya.